found God under a bridge. And, well, he found me. We met each other under a bridge.
Tulsa Talks is the podcast that is inspiring people to have everyday meaningful conversations to gain perspective and help the world.
So, Nick, you drive all the way up from Oklahoma City to see us today.
Yeah.
That's quite an honor for us.
Yeah.
Been following you on Facebook some.
Yeah.
You getting out there and doing your music.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma City and reaching the unreachable.
Yeah.
Why?
Man, because we need it, you know? Like, so I've been clean off meth and fentanyl, heroin, a little over 3 years, right? I'm not going to say I haven't drank, I haven't smoked weed or slipped up in them 3 years, right? But we're only human. But when you do that and you feel that conviction in your heart, that's the Holy Spirit continually to working on you, right? So it's like I'm not going to say I haven't slipped up and done anything because I fight flesh daily. I have to. But as for the hardcore drugs that I was strung out on, my drug of choice and stuff, you know, I have to stay away from that. I have to stay away from people that still do that.
And you go to the streets all the time. You can't tell me you're not around people that do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I am now, but it's like...
Hanging out with them and going to them are two different things?
Two different things. And it's the position that God has put me in to try to reach them. Whether, because like, I felt like I was so lost. I felt like I was so broken, but God came and got me, you know?
And you got kids in our office that are older than 3 years old.
Yeah.
And you've been clean for 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, my little boy, he's 4. He just turned 4, and me and his mom were both strung out with him. Where, praise God, he didn't get taken from us.
And nothing happened severe to him during that.
But my daughter, on the other hand, her mom, when I first got clean, is when her mom and my daughter, you know, they talked to me and stuff about everything. They were like, you know, we seen you walking down the highway with a backpack, no shoes, no shirt, a few times. And, you know, it like, you know, my daughter doesn't like to bring it up a lot, you know what I mean? But I know how bad it hurt and how bad it broke her, you know, but now it's like, but God, look what God did.
What took you into that dark place?
Man, just my flesh, my own carnal mind.
I can't understand it because I've not experienced that. I have other addictions that hurt me severely and hurt people around me.
Yeah. But
I've never been on hard drugs, and I've never been truly homeless. I've couch surfed, 19, 20-year-old kid wanting to go out and party and do the clubbing and all that kind of stuff and pick up the chicks and, you know, all that kind of stuff. 19, 20 years old and couch surfed, lived in my car kind of thing. So a form of homelessness, but never where you went. Apparently you were a little harder headed than I am.
Yeah, a little bit.
What was the start of that, though? I mean, it had to start somewhere.
Well, I mean, everything started when my dad died when I was 11. And he died from alcohol poisoning, cirrhosis of the liver, hep C, you banging dirty needles, heroin and stuff. And that's where everything all started. And it's a whole, like, I could be here for a few days telling you the story.
Or you can give me a, synopsis or quick 1 minute.
So it's like, it started then when he passed, right? So I went through all stages. You know, there's people who've been through worse than me, right? And there's people who haven't. But that's what I try to explain to people is, like, your trials and tribulations ain't always going to be the same, but it can hurt you just as bad as it hurt them. So when mine started, you know, when my daddy died, of course, my mom left him when she was 2 because he was abusive. You know, he used to put his hands on her. And so my mom left him when I was 2. And got a phone call. He died when I was 11. And
So you were still around him a little bit for those 9 years? Not at all.
Never met him, not once. And, but he was still my dad, and I knew that at heart,
Yeah, you knew that he existed somewhere.
Yeah. And even though he did what he did, even now, we have to forgive him. My mom forgives him. We have to, or we're not going to be forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
But so,
there's a bondage that comes with unforgiveness.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to forgive.
Set yourself free through forgiving.
That's right. Yes, that's right. But
anyway, 11 years old, you found that your dad had passed. He had lived a real tragic life.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I went emo, went a little gothic, started cutting my wrists, wanted to kill myself, tried hanging myself. My mom admitted me into St. Anthony's Hospital. I went there, seen people that really wanted to commit suicide, and I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to kill myself no more. Like seeing people in straitjackets, 10 years old, 9 years old, trying to claw their face out. I'm like, Mom, please get me out of here. This is not what I want. I lied. I'm sorry. But so I got out, and it went for a little while. Started smoking meth when I was 14, by my uncle. Not my blood uncle, but we called him Unc. And it just went down and down from there. I ended up getting locked up when I was 16 years old in the Berry House. I did about 5 months. And from there, I went straight to rehab to Norman, to CRC, Children's Recovery Center. So I was gone from 16 to a little after 17. I was gone. And my mom would come see me and stuff, but so I got out. I was clean for about a year or 2, and then I just fell right back into it. My 18th birthday, I got a assault and battery GBI charge because it was my birthday party, and some Mexicans across the street had a bad pill deal go on with my friend's mom. They came over, they put their hands on her. So we went out there and we beat one of them into a coma and stomped the other one out until he was unconscious. And I was only 18, so I went to county for that, and I'm sitting in county. And I finally got a hold of my mom. She's bawling. She's like, I don't even know who you are anymore. This isn't my son. What did you do? And I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? She was like, well, one dude's in a coma, and if he doesn't come out, who knows if I'm ever going to see you again. That right there broke me.
What did you think about yourself during that time? Or were you even thinking about what
I wasn't even
you were
thinking.
living?
I didn't even care. I didn't care at all. And that's the greatest thing about giving your life and surrendering to God is what he can do to transform you if you let him. And, from that charge, from 18 to 25, I've been in and out of jail. I never, wanted to get right. Every time I go to jail, I get out, go right back to the streets, started gangbanging, started, getting heavier into drugs, a little bit of fentanyl. And with his mom, our relationship was so toxic that drove me into homelessness. That's what drove me into homelessness, was that relationship. I can't blame it on her. I have to take accountability for
Yeah, you
my
stayed
actions.
in that relationship, man.
I did.
You stayed in that relationship.
I did. And it drug me into a hole so deep that I never go back. I can't. That's what keeps me so motivated to stay on the right track, is that relationship really impacted me in a bad way and a positive way, if that makes sense.
We have noticed a lot of people that have went down to their bottom and found God, and he changed their life. It seems like a very common path.
Yeah.
That have people having different experiences on their individual path, but still a lot of common traits of the path, common steps of downward and then finding bottom and coming back. And, it's not only in the drug and alcohol and homeless, but it's also in all walks of life.
Right.
Getting to that bottom, whatever that bottom looks like.
Yeah.
And then people going out and sharing their experiences with others that are experiencing that at that certain time.
Yeah.
You're reaching back out to that community that you used to live in, right?
Right.
And these other people reach out to those people that are having common life experiences. And we've coined a phrase, equipped to love.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're doing now. You're going back to the people that you were and loving on them.
Yes.
And you're doing it with doing some rapping, and you're doing it with bringing them some food and sharing what God's done for you.
And
Is that right?
Yeah, and how he can do it for you. Because some people are like, I've done this, this, and this, and woo-de-woo. I can't, God ain't going to forgive me. Well, you're wrong. You're wrong because he can. It doesn't matter what you've done. If you surrender to him, confess that he is Lord, Romans 10:9-10, then you'll be so amazed what God can do.
What has he done for you?
He's given me my life back. He's given me a new identity in Christ.
What does that look like?
It looks like peace, love, kindness, gentleness. I used to be, like I said, I used to gangbang and stuff towards the end of everything, and I was such a bully. I was such a punk. I'd pick fights, people just for no reason. Like somebody would stare at me wrong, and I'm jumping on their heads. You know what I mean? And I've been jumped, I've been beat up, I've been stabbed, and I've done the same to other people. I've robbed people, I've kicked people's doors in. You know what I mean? I used to run around with bandanas tied around my face and a pistol and stuff. And everything that I've done to people has been done to me. And I very hardly believe in you reap what you sow. And like, I will say the last thing that happened is I got jumped and I got beat with a hammer about a month before I decided to go to sober living, and I found God under a bridge. And he found me. We met each other under a bridge, right? But about a month before that, I got jumped and I got beat with a hammer. And I had about 6, 7 hammer whelps on my back. I fell on the ground and, I was covered up. And I feel like God saved me for a reason, because all it would have took was one hit to the back of my head and I would have been dead. So I just, I can't explain the peace that I have knowing that I don't have to worry about none of that no more. I got my kids back. I got a vehicle. I just bought me a trailer. I'm not rich. I don't care to be rich, but I have a happy home. And that's what's most important to me. My mama's happy. My nana's happy. They're so proud of me. I know God's smiling down at me. So it's so beautiful.
What happens if God did want to give you financial blessings beyond what you could ever imagine or hope? I'd
give back.
Would it help you or would it hurt you?
It would probably help.
Would it have helped you or hurt you 5 years ago?
It would have hurt. Because I used to be a secular artist. And if I would have been blessed financially back then, there's no telling what kind of hellhole I would have dug myself into. Signing my life away, selling my soul. That's one thing that I've committed to in doing music right now, And for the rest of my life is for God, and I will never sell my soul. I don't care how much money I get offered. You know, I've been offered money in the secular world when I was in there, and I'm just, you know, I feel God blocked that. God blocked that for a reason. Whether I liked it or not, it happened for a reason.
Where do you see yourself going?
To serve, wash feet, whoever feet I can wash, however I can help. You know, I let people know that all the time. Call me. I'm not like other artists, even Christian artists. You know, I'm not like all of them who just try to keep to themselves, who are just, I don't like to say like they idolize themselves or try to put themselves on a pedestal, but a lot of them do. And every time I do a revival or something, anything I do, I'm always giving my number out, exchanging numbers with kids, parents, anybody, and I'm like, hey, I may not remember you the first time you called, but if you need anything, call me. If you need prayer, call me. If you need somebody to vent to, call me. You need somebody to talk to, call me. And so that's where I'm at.
And you want to stay there.
That's right. I want to stay being the hands and feet.
You are a musician.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little sample?
Yeah. Yeah, I can. Right now?
If you want. If not, we
Okay.
can continue the conversation
I'll
and
give
do
you
it
a little
later.
something. It's unreleased. It's written, but it's unreleased. But, you know.
Do some old stuff. I don't care. Whatever,
Okay.
man. Whatever works. No pressures.
All right. So it's like anger and depression. I was lost after my dad passed. Suicidal thoughts in my head like, where you at, Dad? Ran away from home, stressing Mama out and she big mad. Ay, stressing Mama out and I feel bad. Used to hit the parties yelling whoop on the set, blood. Used to backdoor you for your drugs, where your stash at. I don't care if you was home, the things I've done can't take back. Females broken hearts, truly sorry that I did that. Vests and some throwaways was looking like a G.I. Joe. I don't care, was looking at it, baby. It was toe to toe, like before rebirth. Having shootouts in that parking lot, like before rebirth. I was melted off of that ice pack, wicked in my heart. Run around at the dark, quick to cause a scene. This was staring a little too hard. I was hella mean, had some hate up in my heart. Thought that I was bulletproof. Nah, this ain't Tony Stark. Ay, I've been poked, I've been shot at, I've been jumped, homie. Seen them 4 walls in that hole and it ain't funny, homie. Had some day ones choosing drugs over their friendship, homie. But you know what, it's all good because I'm covered up in that blood now. It's James 1:12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial. Having stood your test, he will give you your crown. I just got that tattooed on me because I've stood the test and I made it out.
You had James 1:12, just that
Yeah,
tattooed, or the whole verse?
just that.
Okay.
So that way, when people are like, "Who's James 1:12?" I can talk to him. You know, I just fished him in. You know.
I do. And the conversation that you and I had, you just wrapped it.
Yeah.
That is actually what you walked out to this point.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of people that went through similar things
Yes.
that you can say, I've been through this. I've been where you are. And I go to the homeless community and have been for a short period of time now, but on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And it's amazing the stories that those people have. Talking to somebody last week, that 25-year-old man on drugs, clearly.
Yeah.
And I asked him, how did you get here? 25 years old. He said, my mom died when I was 15. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
This is what allows me to handle that even to this day.
I feel that.
He died when she died.
Yeah.
And so many people are dead inside in all walks of life, handling it differently.
Mm-hmm.
And God puts people like you in their life that's been there, done that, to say it doesn't have to stay this way.
That's right.
And I'm honored to have received the transformation that he's done for me as well. And that's why we're doing what we're doing here and in other aspects, is to say life doesn't have to be that way.
That's right.
No matter what you've done, no matter what's happened to you, there's a God that loves you enough to transform your understanding of that and take the pressures from you, because he loves you so much and he'll open you up to a different way of life.
Yeah.
Kind of what you're doing for people in Oklahoma City. Is that right?
Yeah, everywhere I go.
Where all do you go?
Wherever I'm called. Wherever I'm called, that's kind of my motto I've been going by right now is I go wherever I'm called. Pick up the phone, God's calling. Where do I need to go next? We just went to Mississippi last weekend, Yazoo, Mississippi, for a Freedom Fest. And I actually baptized my first 15-year-old, I think he's 15-year-old boy. And he asked me to. And that, you know, his stepdad recorded him. It was on a Saturday. Sunday, they went to church. I stayed from Thursday till Sunday out there. And he sent me a voice message, and his name's Christopher. And he told his testimony. And when he sent it to me, we was on our way back, and I just started bawling.
Real men don't bawl, man. What you doing?
And I was like, you know what? I'm writing you a song right now. So I have him a song written, probably recorded next week. But in his testimony, he talked about how there was this one guy who completely changed his life. And just coming from my background, just to hear somebody speak like that is crazy. But I also have to correct him and tell him that was God. God is just using me. I'm just a vessel. This isn't about me. Please don't idolize me. I'm just your brother, and I love you, and I'm here for you. He was facing depression, suicidal thoughts. I talked to his mom and his stepdad, and we talk almost. I mean, this was just last Saturday, but you know, we've been talking almost every day, and they have seen transformation just from him giving his life to Christ, for letting God use me for what he's probably been trying to do for a long time. I just didn't want it. But now that I tasted it 3 years ago, when I first tasted God, life has changed. It's so beautiful. It's such a blessing. You know, he thinks that I blessed him, but in all truth, he blessed me.
Yeah. It's more blessed to give than to receive, because what you receive is amazing.
Yeah.
And humbling.
Humbling. You know, just to have the opportunity to do that. I never pictured myself being where I'm at. You know, I picture myself being locked up, dead, in the streets. But I can't even picture that anymore. It's what I used to picture.
What's a better picture? This one or that one?
This one. By far. My kids in there. Just getting to wake up and see a smile on their face.
Being able to help people instead of hurt them.
Yeah.
If you had one key to give to somebody, which I know God has given you the keys to the kingdom. If you had one key to offer to somebody to transform their life, and they happen to be watching this, what would it be?
To reach out. Call me. Don't give up. I'm here. God's here. God's using me to help. So call me. I'm on social media. You know my phone number, call me.
If you want, we can put your phone number in the description.
You can. Absolutely. I would love that.
We look forward to seeing you down in Oklahoma City sometime soon.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming.
We are here to help you discover or develop your passions, how you can use them, and why you exist. How can we help you help others better?